Hi, my name's JMO, a company called Xcase. Find us on the web at www.xcase.co.uk. Right, today I wanted to look at one of our storage chassis. We call it the Xcase RM424 Pro EX V2 for version 2, obviously. It's a 24 bay service chassis for storage with an expander backplane supporting SGPIO, and we aim it to compete against the likes of Shembro and Supermicro, but at a lower price point. So let me go over the chassis itself. Obviously you've got 24 hot swap bays at the front here, nice caddies that support 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch SATA drives or SAS drives or SSD drives, etc. Good quality caddy, nice click to it, sprung. It's got a couple of LEDs. You may or may not be able to see them from here, but you've got one for power and activity, and the other one for fault reporting, rebuilding a RAID, etc. So let's just pop that back in for a second. Nice click when they go in. On the left here you've got your power button, you've got a light for hard drive activity for an internal SSD, etc. A warning light, and on the right hand side, on the right handle, hopefully you'll see it, you've got a couple of USBs. Now, as said, the 24 bay chassis is connected to a 12 gig backplane which supports SGPIO. This being the expander version, all 24 drives can be controlled from anything from a 4-port HBA or RAID card, like Broadcom as they are now, 4-port 3008 or the RAID cards that they do now. There used to be LSI, of course, and then Avago, and now we're on to Broadcom. You can also use other makes, Intel, etc. So if I can just get to the side, we can have a look at the internal fans. You'll see that there's 3 120mm fans. They've got 4-pin connectors that can connect directly to your motherboard, so your motherboard can support the speed. They're hot swap fans, so you can pull them out and push them back in very easily. Now obviously if this is going into a data center, etc., you'll be very happy with these, that they spin along and thrust lots of air through. They're not over noisy, especially when controlled by your motherboard's BIOS, but if you're a domestic user and you've got it really close, you might find them a little bit loud. And if that's the case, you have got your standard holes on this supporting bar here, and you could just fit domestic fans directly to it. Then you've got to worry, of course, about the airflow and if your hard drives are getting too hot. So anyway, that's down to you. I know it's a question that's asked and I've answered it. So moving on to the backplane itself, you'll see here I've got a single 8643 cable connected. You've got 3 of these 8643 connectors. As said, you only need 1 from a 4-port card, but if you use an 8-port or even a 12-port card, you're going to get slightly better performance from your drives. Most people tend to go with an 8-port, leaving the top one spare in case you want to add a secondary box as a JBOD. To the left you'll see that you've got Molex connections here, and there are actually 5 Molex connections to connect to your power supply. We've just got 3 connected currently, which will work, but obviously you can't overpower this thing, so if you've got 5 spare Molexes, then use them. Internally, and this is one advantage about this chassis compared with, say, your Supermicros or your Shembros, is we do supply a bracket for a standard ATX power supply. Now, standard ATX power supplies are now, you know, your retail domestic ones are getting better and better, and the watts are getting higher and higher. And there's some really good, reliable platinum power supplies out there, which you may decide is a better option than using a server power supply, which are A, costly, and B, sometimes hard to get if one fails. Whereas a standard retail type power supply, obviously you could get it tomorrow from Amazon, etc, etc. It does also come with the brackets to fit a redundant power supply or a single server type power supply. Fitted here, we've just got a micro ATX motherboard just for a quick demo, but it's got space for an extended ATX motherboard, so you can happily put a Supermicro, etc. dual processor board in here. But it will go down to a mini ITX, so all the fittings there for all types of boards. The rear of the chassis, I'll just go round. Oops. There we go. Got your standard 7 expansion slots. This particular Supermicro motherboard has got 2 connectors, 8643 connectors with a built-in LSI 3008 on board. So we're just powering the backplane directly from the motherboard, which is the cheapest option in fairness. But if you have already got a board and a controller, then you know, that's the way to go. On the rear here we've got a couple of 60mm fan points. If you're using the included 120 Super Red fans, then you won't really need them, but perhaps if you're using domestic fans, then add a couple of 60mm as well. You'll see there that's the ATX bracket that comes shipped with them, but as said, you also get your brackets for your redundant power supplies or your single power supplies. Backplane, as I said, is 12 gig nowadays, so it's supporting the latest technology and SGPIO as well. Internally, if you've got an operating system drive, if you're not using M.2, then you can fit one on the side of the chassis here, and the plate to do that is included. Just pausing because you can in fact fit 2, so if you want to fit 2 internal SSDs, then you could RAID them from the motherboard's Intel, etc, etc. So, as said, we do aim this against, just get back to the front here, against the higher quality competitors, as in Supermicro and Shembro. Really is a nice bit of kit, really tested over the years, proper strong construction. When you see it, you'll say, yeah, that's a nice bit of kit. We build it ourselves, build in it ourselves, should I say, and it goes to a lot of universities, etc. And we're getting lots of repeat orders, so obviously liked. There also is a non-expander version, and I'll use the video that we're using for the non-expander version on the website. So if you see this video, just be clear that it's got to be the expander version if you want to control your drives from a 4-port card or 8-port card. Included is a set of rack mount rails heavy duty rails so they can support the weight of the thing when it's fully populated. And if you get stuck with spares like the backplane, etc., then we do hold them locally, which again perhaps is an advantage, because as we know ourselves, getting some spares from Supermicro sometimes is a bit of a pain in the bum. So there we have it, the RM424 Pro-EX version 2. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening.